compassion. It's the new go-to word in Washington.
Dignity, compassion, honesty.
The effective compassion and empathy Americans have shown.
It's probably one of the most compassionate things we can do.
But do politicians know what compassion actually means?
Here to discuss is Fox News Religion contributor Father Jonathan Morris. So, Father, what does it mean?
Latin class here. It comes from two words, compassio, which means to suffer with. Empathy is not a bad explanation in English as well. It's to suffer along with somebody who's suffering, to accompany somebody in their suffering. That's always a good thing. If you don't have any compassion, well, you're a psychopath. Okay? But, and here's this is the most important thing, is that compassion is not the only value. And it's not necessarily on the highest level of the hierarchy of values. So that's why we need politicians to say, okay, yes, it would be a compassionate thing, for example, to have Meals on Wheels, helping the elderly who might not have a hot meal. But it's not the only value. Therefore, we have to line that up with other values. For example, is it a good use of money? I don't know if Meals on Wheels,
It's efficient.
Is efficient? Maybe it is. It's a great idea. But you have to, that's why politicians have to make tough decisions.
All right, so help us out, because both sides are trying to corner the market on compassion here.
Yes,
You've got the left
I
saying,
like that.
we're compassionate because we want to spend more, spend more. You've got the OMB director, Mick Mulvaney, saying, what about compassion for the taxpayer that gives money that gets wasted? What's your take on the way both sides are using that?
Well, you know, I think in the end it's like a family. And if you have a teenager who comes to you and says, Dad, I need another $50. You have to, as a parent, you have to say, I know you're suffering. You know, you don't have that perfect pair of shoes that you'd like. But there are other values as well. You can be compassionate and still say no. And that's, I think, that's the question. That's why we need wise men and women to make those decisions, prudential judgments.
You know how difficult that is. As a politician, you're being pulled in directions from special interests who all want things. The ability to say no is not easy for politicians.
And once you start giving away free stuff, it's very hard to take it back. We know that.
Well, that's a good question. Is it really compassion when you're giving away someone else's money?
Well, sometimes people need, right? We need safety nets. And I think that's why government policy should be compassionate. Yet we have to make prudential judgments. How much should we be giving away of somebody else's money? Should we be taking care of people who can't take care of themselves? I think so. Not necessarily government doing all of it, but should we be giving people free stuff that they're now dependent on and consider themselves to deserve without using all of the hard work and energy and talents that God so wants us to use?
So, Father, would you say more or less are using this word appropriately in Washington?
Hey, listen, I'm glad that people are talking about compassion, but I think we also have to be wise. And we have to, when people use the word, we have to call them to it. Say, okay, very much. So should we give away everything? Probably not.
Father, I can also confirm you're a good skee-ball player. We played in the break.
a lot of time in the beer hall in college. I must admit, that's like a confession, I think.
That's good. This is your Sunday confession. Father, great to see you.
Father Jonathan, great to see you.